John channel here over at Subscribe. So this is a wee bit of a challenging video to make because this is kind of becoming a protected class on YouTube. Like in 2015, you come out here and just crack a bunch of jokes, it would be just fine. But this is a whole different environment. So this is a comic book. Faith came out in 1992, then 2012, then 2016, because obviously it didn't catch on for some wild reason. So they're somewhere in the stages of considering making this a live action. Well, that's a long process. And at any point, they can obviously stop. In fact, at some points, they can make the movie and decide to cancel the movie and take a tax write-off. That seems odd. Like with the Batwoman movie that came out. Batwoman itself was a streaming show. And as bad as it was, something like the Batwoman streaming show, which was on for 3 hours on cable or something. The latest Terminator with Linda Hamilton and the two other women, Birds of Prey, Margot Robbie. And there was another one that was a kind of a chick-led film, Charlie's Angels, one of the remakes, the remake that came out. So those are a bunch of shows, 4 shows that came out, female-led, and they bombed. But when Hollywood made them, I think they still, in the back of their mind, like they're making these movies for ideological reasons, cultural Marxist reasons. But in the back of their mind, they're still looking at something like Birds of Prey. Like I think out of all those, I think they looked at Birds of Prey and thought, like, this is probably going to make money. Margot Robbie is coming out of the first movie where she was in booty shorts and a t-shirt the whole time, just looking as hot and sexy. She was probably 28, 30 in the first movie that came out, just in peak physical condition. She's running around in these shortest shorts. So you think that maybe that has something to do with it? Oh, well, we're going to do Birds of Prey, and it's going to be so is she going to be in those booty shorts again or something similar? No. The previews have her wearing like a feather jacket, and she's all covered up because we're trying to avoid the male gaze. Okay, so how well did that movie do, or Charlie's Angels, or the Batwoman? The Batwoman show went for 3 years. Like, was it making money? Nope. It's funny. It's like it went through 3 years and 2 different actors, and then they went for the movie, and then the movie got made, and then they canceled it. It's like Hollywood's going through some weird stuff right now. Or Charlie's Angels, the Terminator. All 3 of those movies, all 4 of those shows were made. They lost money, but it was still within the Hollywood realm of possibility that there was a chance of those things making money, especially Birds of Prey. And Birds of Prey, they were panicking on because they made it, and then they're starting to they realize like, oh, it bombed, and they're $180 million into it or more plus ads, and they start changing the title and they start digitally editing it. It's like with Cats, they're editing that thing when it's already in the theaters, which is another huge bomb. So my point is, with this very careful video, is I think Hollywood eventually is going to reach the bridge too far. And it has to be this. Yes, I know Melissa McCarthy did a movie 5 years ago. It was a parody, superhero parody comedy, I think. I didn't see it. And there's been a couple others that were, I guess, 2016 Ghostbusters was a comedy. I mean, she was in that. And that was played as a comedy. It's a comedy, but nobody laughed. And there's been a couple others that are played as jokes. Like Disney can do superhero movies can do a lot with BLT characters in the background kissing, as long as you can edit it out for China. Age diversity, like all those movies I mentioned, you had age diversity. Like Birds of Prey, you had 2 women who were in their 40s and 50s playing the role. But all those movies I mentioned, you had lean, fit women who were 30s to 50s, who were physically active. They look like no, they're not going to be tossing around 200-pound guys who were the protagonists. But at least they were physically fit enough to look like they could move around gracefully. I really think this is the line in the sand for Hollywood. Like they say they're making this. They've hired a writer. Well, that's a very small part of the production budget before you get further and further along. Like you can cancel things. Like it's very much better to cancel something a few $1 million in than $250 million in. When you figure you make a movie for something like this, I can't imagine they have a budget higher than $150 million, and then that for advertising again. So if they got to a certain point, like they have to stop. There's no way that they can make this unless it's like a Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer type of comedy. Okay, then maybe that would work. But again, that you'd probably want to be like, okay, the budget should be $100 million. Anyway. So this is 1992. I want to show you how far things have come in current America, which is not doing too well. So 1992, this was an obese character or a fat character for them. Then, so the girl on the left is another superhero, so she's probably 110 pounds, very, very lean. And the chubby character for 92 looks like she's under 200 pounds. And they show her, they carefully draw her so you're not like, even then she's partially blocked. And they're drawing her a certain way, and then she's flying through the air. And this is the, under 200-pound character. It's kind of hard to see because they're drawing her that way on purpose because they don't know how to draw. In 1982, for some reason, they want to make a fat character, and you're looking around like, why would this isn't positivity of someone who's missing a limb or has got a scar or something like that. This is something else. You're pushing something that medical doctors and whoever's associated with areas of health are going to tell you it's unhealthy. Why are you pushing it? Oh, well, we have to accept the people the way they are. Yeah, but you're glorifying it. You're giving these people these magic powers, and you're saying like this larger character is doing all these things, but it's like in the comics she's doing all these things because she's got magic powers that she can fly around. She actually tried to do these things in real life, running around like she'd break an ankle because 300-pound people don't run. They just don't do all these things. So this is 2012, the portrayal of her. And it's like, this is about like where the West is going in general. Like, this is bizarre. This is 2012. So 20 years after the 1992 portrayal where the chick was probably 170, 180 pounds portrayed. I don't know what this is. This is the 2012 superhero. And then 2016, they came out with it again. I think, for a couple of issues, again, for some wild reason, it didn't catch fire. So, but this is like the Tess Holiday stuff. That kind of stuff was big in 2015, 2016. And it never caught on. In fact, I think it's going the other. It's not like people are speaking out. People aren't speaking up for health because the time to do it would have been during those past 3 years when there were certain health issues that related to excess mass, and it's like nobody spoke out against that on a state level or a national level, which is kind of weird that they said, oh, there are these connections between these two health events. So then the follow-up to that should be, so Americans should really get on a fitness kick and start eating less and drop some pounds. And that never happened, which is kind of weird. But this is where we are now, where they're glorifying something, they're pushing something that is objectively unhealthy. I mean, it's dark that they're doing this. They go, well, there are fat people. Yeah, there are people who do all kinds of bad acts. They have all kinds of bad habits. Why would you want to glorify this? And I don't think they have an answer to that, except that they're cultural Marxists, and everything they want to do is to push things that hurt people, push things that break down unity, break down the nation, break down everything. And this is really iffy duty for YouTube. Some people can do this kind of stuff, and they manage to stay within the navigational guidelines. I have a hard time without just not being politically incorrect. The other thing was, perhaps you've noticed in Hollywood, they swap out the blonde hair and the red hair characters when they remake things. So in their mind, they're all this body positivity types, right? So in their mind, if they view obesity as a positive, then they will swap her out for a non-blonde hair, blue-eyed character. But if subconsciously they know it's a negative, they're going to keep her blonde hair, blue-eyed. You know what I'm saying? Because this would be, they've already swapped out every other character. So what are they going to do with this character? If they're going to cast like a Melissa McCarthy, Amy Schumer type, but younger, well then they're telling you how they actually view it. They view it as a negative. And even in the comic universe itself, I remember I was reading this 2016 because I enjoyed cringe reading. She had a boyfriend who is like 6'2", a bodybuilder, shredded, like sub 10% fat. You could count every abdominal muscle, just shredded. And that was her boyfriend. There's a scene they're laying in bed together, and she's there, and she's just, 60, 70% body fat, and he's there, and he's like 8% body fat. It's like, so no body positivity for him? Like, what message are you sending? It's like they don't know what message they're sending, because if they really valued this, then her boyfriend would also look the same as her. It would just be, 60% body fat. It's like, but you don't value it, because you're telling us what you value. You're doing it it's body diversity for the women, and they're doing that with models and whatnot. I mean, good luck with that. How well did that work for Victoria's Secrets? But it's not for the men. Anyway, I don't even know if I could do this on YouTube. So my point is I think I think Hollywood. I think you discovered the bridge too far for Hollywood. I just can't imagine. I can't imagine this will go too much further. I would love to see who they're. When you find out, like, I don't even think it's going to go to casting. I think this will. Like, they've got a writer for it, so it's like, how much do you have to pay the writer? Not much. Not much. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next episode.